Still to come on the show, we'll get Danny Murphy's take on some of the weekend's refereeing decisions with our new feature, Murphy's Law. But there's so many games we haven't really had a chance to talk about yet, so let's go over them with Daniel Murphy. Murphy, you still there?
Yep, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I hope we start with Manchester United because you keep shirking that for the last 2 hours.
Just seeing if it's...
Yeah, Murph, let's start with Manchester United. What did you make of their performance on the weekend?
No, hold on. We've got to go by what we've got in front of us. I haven't got that down here, I'm afraid. We'll do that on tomorrow's show. Do you want to start with... I think we should talk about Spurs first in that game because I thought they were brilliant, if I'm being honest, Murph.
I thought the first half was pretty even. I thought United had some good chances. They were at it for a while. It looked like there was a reaction from last week. They both had some chances, to be fair. They were both having a go, weren't they? Two teams trying to win the game, which is what you want to see. Small details change games, and then in the second half, I thought United were poor. I thought they lacked discipline. I thought they lacked creativity at times. They ended up getting stretched all over the place. I think the midfield of Tottenham overran the United midfield. The two lads, Basuma, Sar, they were courageous with the ball.
Yeah.
They're running off the ball.
Maddison
Sar,
as well.
And Maddison does what he does. Keeps getting on it. But I think United have got a few little problems to iron out. Yeah.
Murph, let me ask you, from my perspective, Man United fan, of course, I look at our team and I think the most dangerous player we've got is Marcus Rashford. Why are we creating problems for ourselves by playing him out of position? I've never understood that. I remember when Liverpool had defensive problems and they moved Jordan Henderson out of his natural role and to play centre of defence. It's almost like you're creating another problem that you don't need to create.
I know what you mean, but before we spoke the United-Wolves game, you picked the team with Rashford up top and Garnacho left, and I agreed with you because it seemed like the sensible thing to do.
Well, what I said was I think this is how United will line up. I didn't say this is what I would do.
Oh, did you not?
No, and the reason for that is because I think Rashford is unbelievable when he's out left cutting in, right? And you completely lose all of that, A, with him playing down the middle with his back to goal, and also whoever... I love Garnacho, but he's obviously not up to that level yet of Rashford. I just don't understand why we don't keep Rashford there and play with, I don't know, false nine, put Sancho up there or Anthony Martial or whoever. But I just think, like, second half, we pushed Bruno out wide. Again, I didn't understand that.
Well, because you were getting so overrun in the midfield and Bruno doesn't defend. But the thing with Rashford is he's the best goal scorer. And he's the quickest, really. So it made sense to start him in those two games where you think you're going to have a lot of the ball and you're going to get some chances to have your best goal scorer there, I thought. Now, it didn't quite work out. I actually thought first half, although he got some criticism from some sources, I thought first half Rashford did well. He actually looked really sharp, caused a few problems.
But he's not a number 9.
No, and what you're saying is when you're so good in one position, you're better, instead of having two people playing out of position, if you like, put him back where he is doing his best job and maybe. But the bigger problem for United, it wasn't so much that, it was more the midfield area being so far apart from each other and so ill-disciplined. Sorry, I know Benton was... For argument's sake, you wouldn't move Mohamed Salah off the right down the middle, would you? He has done.
I know, but it's wrong to do that. Yeah, exactly.
Not very often.
Murph, let me ask you a question then, because you spoke about the midfield, and I agree with you. And you look at Casemiro, he obviously needs help in there. Would you sacrifice maybe Mason Mount or Bruno, because we know Mason Mount hasn't got going, and put maybe McTominay in there? Because I think you've got Casemiro, who's at the anchor, and then you've got almost two number 10s. There's no in between. Would you then sacrifice one of them for maybe potentially like a McTominay?
I think the problem is, I said this at the beginning of last season when people started jumping on me when they signed Eriksen. I said the reason not to get excited about Eriksen because he's another creative player. And if you're playing Bruno Fernandes, who is a brilliant creative player, but he's a luxury defending. So you need two defensive players if you're going to play Bruno. It's that simple. Now, Casemiro always starts seasons slow. He's done it for Madrid. He's just a slow start. That's the way he is. I wouldn't worry about him writing him off. I'm hearing people writing him off. It's ridiculous. He'll get up to match speed. He'll be fine. But if you play Fernandes, you've got to ask Mason Mount to play deeper. And it doesn't really suit him playing deeper. Now, what I'd probably do, looking at the United problem at the minute, is stick Mason Mount wide.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd play him wide for two reasons.
What, instead of Anthony?
Yeah, he's still creative, and he's better at tracking fullbacks and doing his this. Because the other problem United have got, why they're getting played through so easily, is because their wide men aren't defending properly.
Yeah.
But when you play Bruno, although he's brilliant going the other way, the two games against Wolves and Spurs, I don't know who does the video analysis at Old Trafford, but you could put some footage together to show him, which is what should be happening, of when he closes down so quickly and so congestures it and people just run past him, he's leaving the other midfielders wide open. You can't defend as a third midfielder. I know he's playing at advance, so I'm not saying he has to turn into a defensive midfielder, but you can't be skipped past so easily, so often. Be great to play.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.